welcome, PocketWatch here, and it's about time for another episode of Fata Morgana. Let's continue the story. We just managed to get the swordsman, whatever his name is. I still call him Mikimasa because we don't have any other name. Could call him just a swordsman, but you know, it just doesn't like feel well for me. So yeah. Anyway, we're going to dive into his side of the story, why he did what he did, and in general his motivations. So let's see what he has to say. As you know, I am not from this land. The issue is, I don't know any more about where I came from than you. Oh, he actually had some kind of accident? Like he forgot from where he is actually, even here? I remember the Silk Road, stretching out before me as far as the eye can see. Clouds of dust wisping across the bare dirt trail. That endless expanse of red earth remains branded into the very fabric of my mind. But beyond that, most of my memories are gone. Oh, he actually had an accident. Also, I can put my camera here because we are not going to have any like Giselle or Michelle here on the side, so I can only clearly remember the last 5 years or so of my life. In my oldest real memory, I was a slave. Oh. I didn't work on some nobleman's estate, but instead I did physical labor, construction work. I built roads and buildings, tore down hills and mountains. That's where it was decided someone built like me, like I am, would be the most used, I suppose. And while I doubt I need to tell you this, living conditions were miserable. Other slaves withered away and died on a daily basis. Working a noble estate would have been easier, without a doubt, if only for the fact I could have a specific master. I don't remember anything about my life before becoming a slave. Okay, this is some backstory I did not expect it from him. So he also lost the memory like in the second door. And he started as a slave. That's his latest memory. Wow. How did he escape? All I have are those few images, from which I can guess I was part of the caravan. Or perhaps a messenger. I vaguely remember being waylaid. We were vastly outnumbered, massacred with little resistance. Oh, okay, that's how he escaped. He probably survived justice. Or at least I assume that's what happened. When I next woke up, I had been stripped bare and was surrounded by men I didn't recognize. The words they spoke were gibberish to my ears. This is like in the second door. Lost memory, like being around people that he have no idea about in the city. Everyone was like talking and he didn't understood anything. He just knew one word, bestia, basically. I wonder if like this is going to be the case here as well, like he will know one word or something. But I could tell from their tone of voice and expressions that the things that they were saying were not friendly. They seemed to be mocking me, laughing at me. As you might expect, I attempted to protest, but evidently I had been beaten quite badly while I was unconscious. My joints were stiff and swollen, on top of my dehydration, so I could barely move, let alone put up a fight. As strong as I might have been at full health, I was in no condition to do anything then. You have no idea what that's like. How it feels to be used and humiliated, desperate for food and water. Oh, I see. So I was saying, I was a slave for one grueling, torturous year. No one treated me like a human being. There was no one from the same part of the world as me. There was no one to come to my aid. Over time, I came to learn their language. Though I can only speak it, I don't know how to read or write. But to be honest, I think I was happier not understanding what people were saying about me. Yeah. Could be the case, true. God had many words to describe me, none of them flattering. Some of them would even call me beast. So this is exactly like in the second door, wow. Just instead of the village we have like a slave camp. And the longer I was treated as something less than human, the more I began to question whether I really was one. Darkness grew inside within each repeating insult. I wanted to make them pay for the daily abuse. And who wouldn't? The desire to exact vengeance when you're being mistreated is only natural. It's perfectly reasonable. But they were right about what I was deep down, a beast. And my revenge went far beyond what could be considered reasonable. 4 years ago, I was sitting in the carriage as it rattled along the dirt road. This was not the kind of carriage he rode around town in, but a field of his life transport. I was packed front to back with slaves. Or soon to be slaves, I suppose I should say. There were men, young women, and even children. Everyone wore a look of hopelessness in their faces, and no one had the strength left to resist. Also, this place, like, they probably just reused CG, right? But this looks like the place where Mel was. Right, like we had the CG when we had like Mel backstory. They looked at me a year earlier, deprived of food and water and beaten into submission. They looked like me, yeah, okay. The slave traders' guards were armed, of course, swords hanging from their hips, ready to cut down anyone who showed any signs of resistance. So they sat there, lamenting their fate. Sitting beside me was the young girl, crying in silence. Oh! This is the cottage. Oh! That's what we heard from Morgana too. This is the time when he massacred everyone but her. Glancing over at her, I catch a glimpse of her face. Large chunks of skin seems to have fallen off it. It was sufficient to say an unusual sight, but beyond that I didn't think much of it. I didn't find it disturbing or unpleasant, perhaps because I had similarly unusual appearance. What caught my attention though was the way she was crying. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it seems different from everyone else crying in the carriage. It was almost like her tears were not for herself. Why are you crying? I may question the girl turned her head up to me. Look at me. Surprise crossed her face for a few brief seconds, but that was her only reaction to my appearance. I saw her thought process was roughly the same as mine, so she felt no need to fear me. After a moment of hesitation, she said, I'm sad because I didn't get a chance to show my gratitude to people who were dear to me. Her response perplexed me to no end. Why was she concerned about showing gratitude? Why was she not despairing for her own circumstances? Why was that the emotion that gripped her in the moment, not hatred for the slave trader or sorrow for herself? To this day I still don't understand, but that wasn't the only thing I found curious. Her voice, despite being soft, cut through the crying and the wailing of the other slaves. I pictured like a single patch of clear water in the middle of swamp. Okay. So he spared her because she was so different from everyone else. Did he kill everyone else as like act of mercy, quote quote, I would say? Because he was like them before, like beaten up and stuff, and he just felt like they have no future basically, and they just like thought, yeah, they like better off be killed basically, so he just killed them and massacred everyone. Wonder if that's the start. Untamed by the surroundings, gently indulging, one sentence was all she said, but there was something unbelievably calming about it, about the sound of it. For a moment, I was filled with a sense of tranquility, and thought you may not believe it. And though you may not believe it, I wanted to get her out of that filthy carriage, to undo her shackles, threatening to taint her. And so I took action, driven by that desire. This is no lie, I promise. Okay, interesting. He actually tried to save her. No, don't kill me. Please, you can have all my money, you can go free, if that's all you want. I will apologize, anything. Why are you laughing? Please spare me. I have wife and children, please. I'm begging you. And why should I care? Holding sword in my hand felt amazingly right. Whenever work I once did must have required me to use a blade. Oh. I wonder who he's been in this, like, in his previous life, basically, before he lost his memory, because in the second door, when we had his, like, memory from the ship, he's been a merchant, right? So who he's been in this world? I wonder if, like, using the blade is, like, good thing for him. Even with the shackles still around my wrists, I had little trouble slaughtering the slaves, trades, and their guards, traders. They let their guard down because we were restrained. The thought of anyone resisting never ever once crossed their minds. Dead bodies sprawled out around me, corpses I had made, lives I had snuffed out. Look at this. See, no one can defeat me. There's still no chance against my strength. Yeah, he went crazy. More, I need more. I need more. I mean, if you think about this, it's easy for him to get, like, power to his head. If, like, all he remembers is, like, 5 years and he's always been this beaten up slave, basically, then suddenly having a power to opposite the force that basically made you miserable, it will go into your head, basically. And also, as he said, he like vaguely have a feeling that he's used to the sword, so it makes it even, like, easier to fall into this path. Okay, I like how they doing Yukimasa here. I like it. I don't have the words to describe the high it gave me killing those men, the power I felt over them. Let me know in the comments what do you think about him for now. About his backstory here. I was driven mad by the stench of blood filling the air. No, it just drew out what was always there. If I weren't already drenched, the corpses would have had nothing to stimulate in the first place. After taking the keys off one of the slave traders, I returned to the carriage, doing my best to act calm and suppress the bubbling exhilaration. Hey, you, unlock my shackles for me. I would do it myself if I could. You. Say something, would you? Ha. But she said nothing, simply removing my shackles as commanded. If she had said even one word, let me hear that curiously calming voice of hers, then in all likelihood I probably would have stopped there. But she remained perfectly silent. Everyone was in shock at what they had just witnessed, her included. In time, the slaves started cheering. The slaves started cheering. The same people who had been wailing minutes earlier were now shouting praises. Our savior. You're our savior. We're free to go home. We can have our lives back. Undo our shackles, please. I am beast. What? I'm not a savior. I'm not a man. I am a beast. Isn't that right? I'm a beast, aren't I? What are you? More. I need more. Huh. So basically, this part of story is showing Morgana that he's like... Oh shit. Okay, I did something weird. my second screen. Okay. Like, if Morgana would only say anything, then maybe, like, that would not never happen. Like, she wouldn't be imprisoned by him. She wouldn't be betrayed by Mel because of him and stuff. So it's kind of like giving a little bit of like blame, not only on Swordsman, but also on Morgana. I trist for more. What? Why are you pointing your... I need more. Yep. In that moment, the last of my reason dissolved. I went into frenzy, slaughtering the helpless slaves I had never intended to kill. I was euphoric. I couldn't get enough. I reveled in it. Never before had I felt such utter ecstasy. Their cries for mercy as I ripped through them were delicious. The look of fear in their eyes. The way their faces twisted. The splatters of blood around their mouths, open in screams. The despair that filled them. I didn't care anymore that they were just as much victims as me. That they had suffered the same abuse and humiliation. All of that was buried beneath the waves of bliss that ravished me. Everyone who asked to be spared, I squared. I worked my way around the inside of the carriage, killing dozens upon dozens of slaves. Heads went rolling off shoulders, with gazes of blood spewing from open necks. I was practically wading through blood by that point. Some bodies I completely dismembered, others I disemboweled, leaving their entrails to hang out of their open guts. All of them had looks of agony frozen into their faces as death took them. Yeah, and there's only Morgana and him. I don't know if I was unconsciously avoiding her, or if it was just a coincidence. The girl was the only one left alive. She of course hadn't been spared the mess, so she sat there drenched in sticky red gore. Her lips appeared to be trembling, though I couldn't tell for sure, with so much of her skin missing. The fire inside me burned white hot. She was the reason I had done any of this in the first place. I had stood up because I wanted to set her free, but my original intentions were long since gone from my mind. So it went like, it started with the good intentions and ended up with him by being actually totally batshit crazy. So Morgana could actually stop him. That's interesting. Raw pleasure overwhelmed any sense of reason. I approached the girl, pointing the sword at her neck. I expected her to scream, to beg for her life like the others. She did nothing, simply stared up at me. Why didn't you run? And I questioned the girl finally spoke. Why did you kill them? The sound of her voice quelled the furor within me. It baffled me. I had no control over it, yet the strange girl could pacify me with a single utterance. The words she used didn't matter, it was her voice. She would have called me a monster. It would have had the same effect. Because I felt like it. I couldn't explain my reason for murdering the slaves. I didn't have the words to express the things that drove me. I could tell her was that I did it because I felt like it. And why haven't you killed me yet? Yeah, you're different. I wonder like why basically her influence, her voice stopped working on him later on. I guess like after years he basically forgot or like had another goal in his mind and just decided to just ignore her voice at all. Because it seems like she had a lot of influence on him in the beginning, but it disappeared later. I couldn't find an answer for the question my somewhat rattled mind either. In retrospect, I realized now that her voice was my first tether. But at the time, I had no idea why I didn't take her life in my frenzy. I had killed other children, other women. Young, old, sad, miserable, it didn't matter. Nothing had so much as pricked my conscience. I don't know, I said, and then I stepped off the carriage and walked away. Left with questions I couldn't answer. Was I really a beast? Was unleashing my innate savagery and revealing the massacre of helpless people really all I wanted? I didn't know. After escaping from the slave trades, I became something of a bandit. I had no hope of anyone taking me in. Not only was I a murderer, I was a foreigner. No, nor did I have any chance of finding decent work. So I lived by the sword, killing and plundering. The money I honestly didn't give a damn about. I had no desire to be wealthy. It was simply a matter of survival. That and quenching my thirst. I went on for about 3 years like that. Okay, so we have 3 years time skip when he basically been a bandit. He's not even mercenary at this point, he's just a bandit. Until finally encountering something I couldn't defeat with my sword. The amount of muscle was enough to protect myself from disease. Oh. One day I woke up with the chills, my vision blurry, barely able to move my own limbs. Okay, so he got some sickness at some point. I set off for the nearby village, hoping to see a doctor, but my body didn't last that long. I collapsed on the side of the road, drained of my last strength. It was a moderately busy road at that, so I assume I had made it close to the city. Dozens of people passed by, silently pretending not to see anything. I didn't look like someone a respectable person could want to involve themselves with in normal circumstances. So it was no surprise they weren't interested in the sick, filthy foreign man. Hell, I couldn't even remember the last time I had bathed. It was hard to look at me, let alone get anywhere near me. This is where I'm going to die, I thought. It seems like a suitable end to a mad, murderous monster's life. Withering away on the side of the road, beneath sniffing passageway. The fact that I was still alive at all, after 3 years of letting go of other people's lives, was itself wrong. I didn't lament my impending demise. I accepted that such was the way of the world. So the Lord saved him, I assume? So he's like indebted to the Lord, for his life, basically? That's why he's like listening to him? But then... Oh! Pauline saved him! Oh! Okay. I glanced up to see a woman in a nun habit looking down on me. Are you alright? Are you sick? I'm going to check your temperature, okay? Whoa, you're burning up. You shouldn't be out here in this condition. Do you have nowhere to go? Don't worry, I've got you covered. There's a church not far from here. Hanging there just a little longer and you'll be fine. And what is your god going to do for me? He helps people in need? It's not very big, but always got a room for people who need it. You can rest up in one of the open beds, and I should be able to get you a little something to eat. I promise it will be better than staying out here at any rate. So I think like he had to choose between two tethers, basically, as he called them. Because one tether is Morgana and the second tether is Pauline. So he had a choice between the two of them. So this is like kind of like the analogy that he gave to Mel. You are on the cliff, you can save either your sister or Michelle. And this is a similar situation for him, I guess. I think like this is why he came up with that analogy for Mel. I can either save Pauline or I can save Morgana. I think he's been in the same situation. Can you stand? Not a problem. We can do this together. Put your arm around my shoulders. The church isn't that far, we can do it. You are going to carry me? Yep. I'll be fine. We'll make it one way or another. Okay. There it is. It's so small back in the day. Oh, this is not the mansion. This is just like under church somewhere. Okay. Right. Right. Makes sense. Almost. We're almost there. Just a little longer. I'm heavy, aren't I? Very heavy. But that's not the problem. I can do anything if I put my mind to it. Just throw me into the ditch. Now, God doesn't like his children talking like that. Almost there. We're almost there. Okay. That's a nice room. So, how are you feeling? Better, I hope? I've had some apple sauce on the bed stand. If you're feeling up to eating anything. You're welcome to stay here as long as you need to. Why did you help me? Because that's what people do. They help each other. That's not what most people do. I like to think it is. You church people are exceptions. I'm not sure. I agree with that. This woman's only showing me compassion because she doesn't know what I am. She wouldn't be so friendly if she knew I was a madman and a murderer. If there's anything else you want, let me know. I can't make you any fancy dinners, but if there's anything I can get, I will. Could you tell me your name? I'm Mari. Yeah. So the same stat. So when did she actually tell him her real name? When did she open up to him? Like emotionally? Okay, 1 second, because my second monitor is just like blinking wildly for some reason. 1 second. Okay, hopefully I fixed the issue with cables. I should change the monitor. Like, I have like this thing like forever. It's like slowly breaking down. But it's still working, so I'm not changing it. Mari, huh? After, who is it? The Virgin? Yeah, Mari. You're not familiar with the Virgin Mari? Just look at me. I'm clearly not from these parts. Ah, yeah, I can see that. So, that would make you a traveler, huh? You speak the language really well, though. I take it you've been here a while, then? Yes, I have. Exciting. So when you are feeling better, maybe you could tell me about the country you came from. I've never been far from home, so I'm curious. What it's like elsewhere. Yeah, he doesn't remember it, too. There's nothing I could tell you. It can be anything. Tell me about yourself if you want. I'm even less inclined to do that. Get better soon, okay? I'm looking forward to hearing all about it. I'm sure there's anyone out there more deserving of the Virgin Mary's name. What was that? Her name, it suits you. Oh no, not at all. I'm incredibly flattered to hear you say that, but I hardly live up to the name. What's your name, by the way? I have no name. Oh, even then. I guess because he's been a slave all this time, right? They didn't have names. You don't? If you want something to call me by, you can choose a name for me. Anything you want. Ah. I am nameless. You give me a name. I think you should be the one to choose your name. Yeah, I will be more happy to help though. I will be more than happy to help though. But you should go with the name you think is best. I see. Well, I should get going. I'll be around if you need anything. Holler. Bye then. Interesting. I wonder if he actually chose some kind of name, but he never actually told us later. How am I supposed to choose a name for myself when I don't know anything about me? Yeah, that might be a problem. I recovered quickly with the proper bed and the roof over my head. Out on the road, I had been certain I stood no chance, but I was back on my feet after only 3 days at the church. My body was more resilient than ever, even I knew. And now that I was back in health, I had no intention of sticking around. Okay. So he's leaving. So they didn't have actually enough time to have some kind of like deeper relationship here. Unless somehow she will make him stay. Thank you for everything. I would be dead if it weren't for you. No thanks necessary. I'm just glad to see you feeling better. There's no need to be in such rush to leave, you know. Stay a bit longer. Make sure everything's alright. I'm not going to stay any longer than necessary. If you're sure. Take this as payment for the food and lodgings. I can't accept that, no. We don't charge for charity. Charity is not free. That's a good point. You paid for it. Let me pay you back. I can't. Please take the money. If you insist, I can accept this as a tithe. A tithe? Think of it like a donation to the church. Like I said, the work we do isn't free. Alright? Then a tithe it is. Thank you. And may God bless you for your generosity. So long. Hey, if you ever visit the area, maybe you could stop by sometime. I never did get a chance to have to talk, have that talk with you, and I was really looking forward to it too. Yeah, I will just cause you more trouble, and he doesn't want to talk about this. That's why he just like leaving suddenly. What? No, you wouldn't. What makes you think that? You're afraid you will scare people off because you look different? I really don't think you need to be worried about that. It's not just my appearance. I am... Yeah, he thinks he's a beast. Do you mean it? That it won't be any trouble having you around? Absolutely mean it. Okay. I will consider it. Interesting, he actually thinks of staying here. I mean, not staying, like visiting here from time to time. That's kind of unexpected. I mean, he does like develop like a tether, as he said to her. I guess, like she saved him. So she's the reason he wants to visit here again, I guess. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. It's kind of surprising, but it also makes sense. Wonderful. I can't wait to see again. Yeah. Believe me, I knew I had no place involving myself with her. A killer making himself comfortable in the house of God? I don't even believe in their deity, and I still knew that it was nothing if not extremely disrespectful. The money I had donated to her church wasn't even clean. It was stolen. I didn't feel the slightest bit guilty about it though. I was more than conscious of what I was doing, but none of that mattered to me. She had smiled when she took it. That was enough. Seeing the nun smile put my heart at ease. Much like the sound of the slave girl voice had several years before. Yeah. So I think like he's going to be on the edge here. Like I said before, he's going to have a choice between the two of them. And also this is around the time when Morgana is living in the brothel, right? I think it's about this time. It restrained me, suppressed my urges. That smiling face was my new tether. I had always believed that I was at my happiest while torturing people, that my thirst for murder was ingrained in my soul. But as exiling as taking others' lives was, there was a part of me that yearned for peace. Yep. That's the problem that we had in the second door as well. He wanted to be human. I had gotten a taste of that with her, and I wanted more. Even knowing I had no place in that world, that peace was something I would never attain, still I longed for it. It started with brief visits every few months. In time though, their frequency began to increase. Soon it was once a month, then twice, then once a week. The length of my visit gradually grew as well. Every time I showed up, the nun greeted me with a smile, quenching my thirst without the need for blood. The more we met, the more I endeavored to be a normal man around her. Like, if you think about this, Pauline acting not like a Pauline from the second door. She's more like a white-haired girl from the second door. She's the person that's like keeping him on the human side. And if you think about this, this is also similar principle, like for him, from his perspective. Because in the second door, he was thinking like, you only think of me as the human because you don't see who I am. Because white-haired girl would be blind. And in this situation, she doesn't know what he did in the past. So she's blind on his past and on his true self. And she's treating him as a human because of that. That's what he thinks. And that was been exactly the same case with the white-haired girl. So Pauline here is equivalent of the white-haired girl, not the Pauline from the second door. This is very interesting. Or to play the part of one. I thought that if I acted like there was nothing wrong with me, then I wouldn't be out of place at her side. I wanted to feel like I belonged in that peaceful world where she lived. Okay. Oh, it's a giant man, Marie! The giant man's here! Okay. Giant? Ah, hello there. Why you call him Giant? Did we had any time like how height is? What's the height of Yukimasa? Did we ever learn that? Because if he's like from Japan, he's probably not very like he's not big, okay? Like average height of like Japanese people are like actually pretty low, I think. In general, right? So why would they call him Giant? Like they probably saw more like big people around here. Oh, hello there. I was beginning to think you weren't coming this week. I was having trouble in deciding on what to bring you. You're always so welcome here, you know. You don't have to bribe yourself in, but I appreciate it, thank you. You wouldn't feel right if I didn't bring something. I brought a variety of fruits for you today, so you can share them with the children. Wow, he's being considerate for the children as well, holy Jesus. That's not Yukimasa that we know. Yeah, they will be delighted. Thank you so much. It's nothing, really. So, have you decided on a name for yourself yet? Not yet. No. Nothing at all. It makes talking to you a little awkward, not having anything to call you. In that case, the giant man is as good as anything. Wow. So, did he get under your skin? A little? I'm not that big, am I? Well, we're all giants to little kids. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, sure. Okay, I get it now. I do wish they would be a little less blunt about it sometimes, though. I did. I suppose it's better than them being afraid of me. The children here have strong nerves. They're ordinary kids. You are just not a scary person. Then they assume I'm harmless because I'm with you. What make you sound like you actually are dangerous or... Wait. Oh, what? You make it sound like you actually are dangerous or something. I mean... Yeah, kinda. Because I am. Don't get worked about it. The only thing different about us is our race. Everything else is exactly the same. I'm not so sure. You must have had some pretty awful experiences because of your appearance, then to make you so concerned about it. I wish I could say I understand your pain. That's not necessary. But if I could, then maybe I would feel a little closer to you. If only I could be even half the same race as you. You have nothing gained from being more like me. You don't think so? I think there's a lot that would be nice about it. I probably would have a really pretty black hair at least. If I'm even reborn, I would like to be more like you. Wow. Why are you so obsessed with being like me? Yeah, she develops her feelings for him. I just am? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was awkward. So when the Lord came in, that was about time I started noticing the feelings she had for me, yep. At first, I thought it was being simply egoistical. There was no way a woman like her would be interested in a man like me. But I couldn't think of another explanation for the way she looked at me. Back then, I believed I loved her too. And that if we could be together as the man and woman, and I would finally be able to attain the peace I so sought. That I could wash my hands of the killer within me, defeat the urges once and for all. That I could step out of darkness I had lived in for so long. That I would be able to see the light. That I would be able to experience love like any other ordinary man. So in the name of that hope I took action. That foolish, naive hope. Okay. What did he do? Oh, he's confessed to her or something. Wow. Okay. I guess it'll make sense that happens sooner or later. But we're going to see this conversation in the next episode. What we are doing so late in the night. I think I know what we are doing. We are going to confess to Pauline. To Mari. As he knows her for the name. But yeah. That's for the next episode. Wow, that's kind of surprising backstory for Yukimasa, for the swordsman. I didn't thought that he was actually a slave in the beginning. And also, like I said before, like all these experiences and like basically triggered the beast within him. And Morgana could actually save him back in the day, but she was unable to. And now it's Pauline's role to do this, just like White Hot Girl attached him to his human side in the second door. Wow, what an episode. That's a lot to think about. Well, let me in the comments what do you think about this, and I will see you in the next one. So leave a like if you like the episode, subscribe for more, check my Discord, and become a member if you would like to support me and see the episodes earlier. Thank you once again, and for a Pocket Watch, it's going out.